it's a lonely night. In my cold coffin, oh so tight. Anime pillows decorate these inner walls as I'm rattling around in these dark halls. I search the internet for some clues. I throw up when I see naked women, I'm so confused. This isn't what sex could be. Vaginas and butts are for Papa and baby. Ooh, baby, it's a lonely night. Here in my coffin, oh so tight. I've got no dick, but I love to bone. Home this night, I'm all alone. Ooh, baby, it's a lonely night. My cheap pillow wife feels so right. I've got no dick, but I love to bone. Home this night, I'm all alone. A dark night of melancholia. I open up a book filled with genitalia. Oh my God, page after page of naked dudes. Why is the hair on his penis called pubes? I call a doctor to ask if this is true. He answers with anger, who the hell are you? I slammed on the telephone and then I scream. Why would the penis call for nasty white cream? Baby, it's a lonely night. Here in my coffin, oh so tight. I've got no dick, but I love to bone. Home this night, I'm all but alone. Baby, it's a lonely night. A cheap pillow wife feels so right. Sunglasses at night with my saxophone. I'm telling you, baby, I just love you all. Yeah.
Where game? Can I arrive before we play games? Or do you mean where the thumbnail is? Because if that's your question, then ask that question. But also, I like before today, chat not showing. I might have to. Maybe it'll show like when we swap over to the other thing. Both. What? I'm sorry, you mean where's the game when I'm not here, and also where's the thumbnail? Because one of those questions, it's fair. It's the second one. But to be more of an actual answer giver, I didn't even know what I was gonna play until like yesterday, and then I thought I would have enough time to make a thumbnail, but I didn't. I'll make it after the stream, and then, you know, we'll just have it there. What is the song? It's I Love to Bone featuring Hot Dad by Joel Varg Skeletor on the Skeleton Metal album. Very based song. And this is Mexican Chirino. But it's very quiet, so I don't know how well you'll hear it. But anyway, welcome back, everybody, to the stream. Last week we were out, which is why I didn't stream. I thought about streaming on Sunday, but then I didn't, because I just wanted to play more Monster Hunter, which I also wanted to do today, so didn't quite work out. But I'm gonna after the stream. But today, as promised, we're playing something that's a little bit on the older side. A game from my childhood. A game that I've played a good couple of times, but never actually beat. Because back then my PS2 CD was like fucked up for some reason, and I like couldn't play past a certain point no matter what I did. But we're gonna beat it maybe today. I don't remember how long this game is. It like when I remember back to this game, I remember like ages, playing it for ages and ages. I would assume it's probably like, I don't know, maybe like not even 10 hours long. I think 8 is more accurate. But yeah, it's Nicktoons Unite, which I think was the first in the Nicktoons Unite game series. There might have been other ones that were like earlier, but I don't remember. Where's full screen? Yeah, there we go. Give me full screen. So, for those who don't know, Nicktoons was in like the early 2000s. It was kind of just the crossover thing for a lot of different maybe I shouldn't say it that way. Nickelodeon. I wanted to make a joke about me not being able to fucking speak, but then I realized that, you know, not so good maybe. But yeah, it was basically like Nickelodeon's crossover for their most popular shows, which, as you can see right here, is, you know, SpongeBob, Fairly Odd Parents, Danny Phantom, and Jimmy Neutron. Which is whack, because I don't know what the fuck is playing on Nickelodeon these days. I genuinely have no idea. Also, might have to turn up the volume on this. I think it's not very... It's not very loud, I don't think. But yeah, it was crazy. Still no chat? Yeah, you're right. Why is there no chat? And why is Sliggy being stinky? He's not working properly. Yeah, this is what happens when you don't, like, stream for a minute. Don't worry, I'm... Yeah, for some reason, the chat here doesn't work at all. That's weird. It's not like a super big deal, because, you know, after the fact, you can still... don't worry, I'll bring Sliggy back in a second. After the fact, you can still, like, enter the link and whatever. Should work now, maybe, if you guys keep typing. And then... let me bring back, me. I'm still, like, very, very, very excited to, hopefully soon bring back streams properly from the PC. Rather than doing them, you know, over the laptop. My assumption is that, you know, it should work out pretty soon. I think that should be correct. Why is the chat still not working? That's really, really weird. Write another thing? I mean, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I don't... Something that isn't the Chinese flag, maybe? Okay, there's... something's broken here. I don't know what it is. What if I... turn the extension back on and then, swap to the link again. Try it again, please. Okay, there we go. Now it works. Perfect. Alright, perfect. So we're ready to... oh, fuck. I forgot to close Steam. I think that one's, yeah, Exit Steam. Okay, yeah, and I'm also gonna have to fuck with the audio a little bit here. Oh, maybe, hold on, maybe it's actually... I do remember, though, this game was very, very quiet. I remember this game was very, very quiet when I played it. That's a little better, though. This song doesn't sound very Nickelodeon. Well, to be fair, this is, so... You know, you have to remember that this is 2005, I think, when this came out. And these games, other than, like... The games were fairly faithful, but the music... I mean, also, like, the presentation here, you can already tell, like, obviously this isn't, like, super high budget or whatever. But these are kind of the games that, you know, you grew up with when you liked Nickelodeon and you were a baby like me. They're good games, right? They're fairly standard, like, action games. If you remember the SpongeBob game, Creature from the Krusty Krab, that I've played a couple of times on the channel, that one also had, like, barely anything to do with SpongeBob other than the fact that it was... the characters were SpongeBob. And one of the funnier things in this game is that for the German version, they didn't get a single one of the actual voice actors from the show for the characters. I don't know for the English dub. I don't know, but for the German dub, like, literally none of the voices are of the actual characters. And it's really, really funny. Because they just got, like... I don't know, they just got, like, Joe from accounting. Well, they wouldn't be named Joe, but you know what I mean. The multiverse before it was mainstream? I mean, multiverse things existed for a while.
Ah, Bikini Bottom. A paradise on the ocean floor.
I don't know if
many undersea creatures
there were subtitles that you could set up.
Good morning, Gary. What are we gonna do today?
Also, this is literally, I think, just the model from Creature from the Krusty Krab. Also, yeah, they did for
I wonder what's going on.
For SpongeBob, at least, they got the right voice actors. This is very good. Very good visuals.
Plankton can't do that to people. Oh no! If Plankton's in charge, he'll steal the Krabby Patty formula.
Why does SpongeBob look like he's wearing eyeliner? Yeah, yeah. I can't hear Plankton anymore. All I hear is Cell. That's fair. Oh Jesus! Don't eat me. Okay, yeah, it looks like they have all the original voice actors.
With villains from other worlds, and with their help, he's taking over Bikini Bottom.
Come on, SpongeBob, wake up! Oh, I must have had too much ice cream last night.
I've been gathering information about your world, and I know you've dealt with him before. Please, SpongeBob, we need your help.
Anyone else care to defy me?
Okay, I'll do what I can to help.
Follow my dog, and he will lead you to me. I'll be able to tell you more when you get to my lab.
Gary, stand guard and don't let them in. I'll be back soon. Meow.
Burn that 3D model with fire. Like I said, this was 2005. Although, to be fair, like... Well, I guess no, because Jimmy Neutron was already 3D. But I think that, like, for example, SpongeBob and Timmy were done okay. Danny, too, actually, is, like, fine. I don't really, like... Yeah, Jimmy looks worse when I don't know why they did this. They were like, okay, we have to have a 2D version of Jimmy. It's like you could have just, you know, used a picture from...
Neutron.
Well,
welcome to my lab.
This is amazing. He's a giant block of cheese.
Timmy, SpongeBob is a sponge from a place called Bikini Bottom.
yeah, also
that
he's
reminds
fucking
me.
dying right now.
Electronic moisture sealant will keep you moist outside of water.
Oh, no,
This is the
never mind. They
strangest
actually
morning
thought
I've
about
had
that.
since, well, last Tuesday.
Wow, he can talk?
Of course he can, Danny. Where SpongeBob comes from, all sea creatures can talk. SpongeBob, we need to bring you up to speed on what's happening. This all started with my
I believe this
latest
was also
invention,
before the Jimmy and Timmy
Universe
Power
Portal
Hour, by the
Machine. It's
way.
a device that lets us travel to other worlds.
But I'm not sure.
Professor Calamitous has somehow gained access to my project plans and created a copy of my machine. I've been tracking.
Yeah, the 2D sprite of Jimmy looks fucking
He's been
cursed.
visiting your
It's
world.
terrible.
He's found an ally in each world, and they've teamed up to form a syndicate.
I love that, like,
He must have some sort of master plan that they
you
can
know,
all
you've
benefit
got, like,
from.
evil
They combine their
scientist.
powers to create an army of
I guess
syndicate
Plankton
troops,
is
and they're
also sort
stealing
of
energy
that
from each of your worlds.
evil
Don't know why they're
ghost,
stealing
and then
this
you just
energy,
got
but whatever it's
my
for,
teacher.
It won't be good.
Don't be such a science nerd. If you think about it, this is actually pretty cool. It's just like one of my games.
Now, Timmy, this is a lot more serious than one of your video games.
I don't...
We've lost our powers because of this syndicate, and we won't be able to do anything until they're stopped.
Yeah, Timmy. Right now, this wand is just a glorified back scratcher.
I do love that they,
Holograms are right,
like,
Timmy. We must
did
work
kind of,
together
like,
to stop the
try
syndicate.
to
I know you've each
make
defeated these
everything
guys
make
individually.
sense.
That's why I've
You know,
brought you all
Danny,
here. If we combine
Danny,
our
stop
knowledge,
staring at
we
me
can
like
beat
that.
them.
All I'm saying is that it's exciting to
I
work
feel
with a team
feel
at the end of the
violated.
day.
Stop
Well,
looking
now
at
that
me
the
like
entire
that.
team is assembled, I think it's time we get started.
Okay, since we don't know where Calamitus's secret laboratory is, our only leads lie in each of your worlds. To begin with, let's stop them from draining the energy.
Where should we start?
How about Amity Park?
Let's go!
Oh, well, there, okay, we figured that out pretty quickly. God, it's also fucking, it's all coming back to me. So, as you may expect, this is one of those games where, like, you just, you know, you swap around with the characters, and then each character has, like, their own, you know, they have their own, like, set of abilities and their own things that they have to do in each level. By the way, look at how crisp this looks. Thank you, emulation. Oh yeah, by the way, this is one of those games where you jump with the circle button because they... I don't know if this was, like, originally made in Japan or something like that, but you attack with X and then you jump with circle. You can't change this. I remember this, but with Shrek. What, the controls? Yeah, you can upgrade abilities. I remember this shit. I remember this shit. The gameplay style. I mean, there's a lot of games that were like this, right? It was like kind of the way to do it. If you wanted to do like an action game, you would just have like, you know, put your 4 characters in there, have them all have different abilities, and then you use their abilities to like solve puzzles and whatever.
Where are we? I set the machine to take us to Danny's school. I must have made a miscalculation.
Oh, you've made no mistake. I've taken up residence at Casper High, or at least where Casper High once stood. I'm glad you could finally make it. I've been waiting for you all to arrive.
Evil scientist, ghost, sea creature, and underpaid teacher. My favorite Sinister 4, truly.
Oh, it's not that simple, Danny. I have the upper hand. All you need to
So
do
what's
is
implied
join
here is
me
that
and
he's
I will
mind
let
controlling
I told you
Danny's
before,
parents.
I use my powers for good.
You cannot resist, Danny.
The Syndicate cannot be defeated. With every passing moment, this ghost portal provides us with power for the Syndicate's ultimate plan, and provides me with unlimited ghost energy.
I will
Was
never
ghost
join
energy
you.
a thing in Danny Phantom? I don't remember. I haven't seen it in a while, even though it was like my favorite Nickelodeon show for a long time.
In the Ghost Zone prison!
Where are we? You're in my world now. Walker. Oh yeah, right. I remember. They like I said, they really did like put some effort into this. Vlad model does look extremely weird, but give them credit. The show wasn't made for 3D. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of the stuff here is like, for the fact that they turned like basically a lot of like 3D models into, or sorry, a lot of like 2D characters into 3D models. It doesn't look terrible. It doesn't look terrible. I love the detail of Cosmo like blinking while Timmy is like using him as a fucking machine. They I don't know, this isn't terrible. And I remember this game being pretty fucking good. Which is why I like played it so often. So I think the thing here was to like, yeah, you had to hit the beds and then you had to, right. So one of the cool things about like your fellow characters here is that they actually automatically attack enemies. Like, if they don't have powers, how do you turn into a gun? I think like they have like basic powers, they just can't they can't, you know, do wishes. They can still do their like transforming abilities and like, you know, appearing, disappearing, but I don't think they can, you know, like actually fulfill wishes anymore. I think that's the idea. The thing is, they had to come up with something to be like, oh, you know, Timmy can't just fucking wish for things to be okay again, because then, you know, obviously the game would immediately be over. Why does a box ghost look like he has like a Mexican mustache? I remember when Box Ghost was relevant. I remember. I used to watch a lot of these shows. Like, I definitely watched Danny Phantom. I watched Fairly Odd Parents. SpongeBob 2. Like crazy. I also watched a lot of... I watched all of these shows. The later games introduced other... like other Nicktoons characters. Like, instead of Jimmy Neutron as a playable character, he would be like a side character usually, or something like that. And then you would have like Tack or somebody else. It's like it was always very it was, I don't think it was always the same characters. I think sometimes they would just like change up who the fourth main character was. And you know, like I said, like it's a very basic game, but I remember having a lot of fun playing it. Because in reality, you don't really need, especially back then, you didn't need like a crazy concept for like a TV show tie-in. And I don't know, for some reason, like the people who made the SpongeBob games and such, like THQ, put like a lot of effort into their Nickelodeon games. Even though I don't even know how well they did monetarily. I know this one was like rated fairly highly. A lot of the other ones, not so much. By the way, one of the cool things in this game is that if you if the ghosts are going ghost mode, you can't actually hurt them, but there is, I believe, later there's an ability where Danny can also go into ghost form, and then you can actually just beat the fuck out of the ghosts. The frame rate isn't great, but I remember that being on the actual PS2 as well. The hardware just wasn't like strong enough a lot of the times to support like 7 different enemies on the screen. I think the GameCube version might have ran better, but the PS2 version is usually what I played. Generally speaking, if there's games with like a PS2 version and a GameCube version, I usually played the PS2 version. Hey, what's up? You're free. Also, the Ghost Prison, by the way, was actually a thing in the show in Danny Phantom. I think in one of the later seasons, but it was actually a thing. And then, like, for example, here, now we have to, you know, use Timmy to hit that switch, and then... Usually what I would do is I would just always play as Danny, because he was, like, out of these 4 characters, he's my favorite. I believe in 2 episodes they show the prison. Yeah, like, something like that. I know that, especially for the later seasons, there were, like, a lot of recurring things in the show. Which, yeah, like you said, like, they would just, like, keep showing them in a couple of episodes. I'm glad that Danny Phantom, like, stopped and they didn't, like, try to keep it alive for forever. Even though they did, because, like, there was, like, a lot of different seasons with, like, a lot of different, things happening. I remember by the end, Danny got like fucking ice powers and shit. And then he actually like ended up revealing that, you know, he's the half ghost man to his parents and whatever. Like Danny Phantom had a pretty good ending. Whereas, like, you know, like, some, like, Fairly Odd Parents or whatever just kind of, like, ended up, going on for forever. And it just didn't get any better. I don't know about SpongeBob. Like, I think SpongeBob has always had that kind of thing where it's, like, the quality got better and then... Or, like, the quality was good and then it got... worse, and then it got like a little bit better again, and then it got worse again. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. But Danny Phantom, thankfully, like ended before they could like turn it into complete shit. As far as I remember. Also, I don't know if this was, like, built for multiplayer, to be completely honest with you. I think so. But I don't know, like, I feel like it would be very annoying to play this with multiple people. I can't upgrade any of these. Oh, I'll save. Jimmy was canceled because of a movie. Still sad about it. What was Jimmy Neutron canceled because of a movie? I remember the pilot movie and always being like super confused because I had seen the show before the movie, and then when the Yolkians showed up and they were like, "Oh, it's you guys again." I was really confused because I never knew, like, okay, But what do you mean again? Because I've never seen these guys. And then it just turned out that, yeah, you know, they had a movie, they had a pilot movie. 3D animation studio made a movie named And Bully and it flopped and the studio had to close. Ah, okay. Fair, I didn't know that. I had no idea that was the case. By the way, every character has this like cool shield ability, which you really don't use other than maybe like in boss fights. But there's other abilities that we'll get that are like more important. There's one coming up actually. It's funny to think that like Nickelodeon shows would get canceled. Although then again, like, you know, maybe they just don't have that much money. Also, these guys, by the way, fucking suck. Because they just track you like crazy. Perry, thank you, Payne. Thank you. What a dog-ass thing to say. Yeah, this is how you get, like, new abilities. So now we have Overshadow, which is, oh yeah, no, that's right. The ability to take control of enemies. So if you like, for example, this guy, right? If you, knock him out, and then you hit square, then you can... Oh, yeah, that's right. I don't actually think you could... I don't think, Danny could actually go ghost. I think it was just that you could, like, possess this dude who ends up going ghost. And then you can do, like, the shit that the other characters do. Also, this doesn't last forever, but your energy doesn't deplete that quickly, so it's fine. I do remember, like, a good bit about the level design, because I remember that, like, each of these worlds isn't just set in, like, you know, one level. You really do kind of go through, like, the actual world of each show, and it's done pretty well. I would argue that maybe Danny's world is, like, the least accurate, maybe, but I also kind of have to, like, remember. I'll have to see to, like, properly tell you the truth there, to be completely honest. But I remember that, like, all the other worlds are fairly accurate to what the show was. I guess with you know, this one is, like, we never really got to see that much of the ghost prison, so it's just like, okay, they just made prison. But again, like, I have to say, for them to actually incorporate things from the show just goes to show that, like, they did, to a degree, care about what they were making here, right? I know that, like, a lot of other, like, TV show or movie tie-in games would not go that extra mile, and I don't know, I think that's, like, admirable to a degree. Imagine being able to speak, couldn't be me. I think Timmy got stuck. Learn the language? I fucking... Glass houses, Pain. Glass motherfucking houses. Alright, there we go. Oh no, that's not the end of the level. We're just gonna fight a bunch of enemies. Yeah, and then you got like... It was like... I don't know, they did some cool shit because there were like a good amount of like power-ups and everything. Like they didn't just fucking throw you in and go like, yeah, fight these things that are difficult to beat or whatever. They actually give you things to help you. And like the different abilities and everything. I think it's like rather impressive. You can speak it, you just can't write it. I don't know about that, Pain. I've heard you speak. It's not that much better. It is better than your writing, but like... I've heard worse too, though, so... Checking if my laptop isn't running too hot. Sort of is. This should be all right. I'd like to not have the stream crash on me. God, I can't wait for the fucking computer. Like, I don't have to. I'm gonna order the last part next week and then... You know, soon we will not have a lot of issue. I mean, we you know, had a good time with this laptop too, but I'm also bothered by having to set it up every single fucking time I want to stream. I would rather just be able to fucking sit down, start up Streamlabs, and then fucking go, you know? Let me see, because I missed a few things. As far as I know, today Nick is mostly new SpongeBob the Loud House, and I think that's it. I sort of believe that. I sort of believe that because I don't know, like, SpongeBob is like their longest running thing that you can like still keep going because it's so neutral on everything, right? It's like there's not a lot that can like really age this show. Loud House, I've seen a couple of episodes, or no, it wasn't the Loud House that I saw, it was the spin-off with the Mexican family. That's the one that I saw. That was like, alright. It seemed like it was kind of the same show, but just like with less characters. Also less incest from the fan community. Hey, what's up?
This is my prison. I make the rules. You boys are never getting out of here.
I don't know if this dude actually sounded like this in the show. Yo, what the fuck? This dude's doing like the Kamehameha wave. Oh shit. So if you have this purple thing, by the way, I think that's infinite, like, ability energy, which doesn't really, like, do a lot for you. Because, like, sure, you know, you can use this ghost dude to fight this guy, but you don't do that much damage. I guess the only thing is that, like, you're not on the ground, so he can't hit you with his ghost wave.
Some help here, guys.
Yeah, also, by the way, the characters, like, individually can not die, I guess, but, like, lose health. So if, like, one character gets knocked out, that doesn't mean you can't play the level anymore. It just means that, like, you know, you can't play that character anymore. I love stock video game music. Yeah, so see, like, now Timmy is dead, and then that will use up, like, an extra life. And so if you run out of extra lives, you're fucked, but also I think you get plenty of extra lives, if I remember correctly.
So how are we gonna get out of this ghost zone?
Wait a minute. If this is a ghost zone, then those things before, they must have been ghosts!
You know, Vlad's not the only one with a ghost portal.
You have access to another ghost portal?
Jimmy, why are you looking at me?
Follow me.
Alright, and then I think, like, yeah, you can upgrade abilities after... Upgrade allows Danny to use an enemy's charge attack when it's overshadowing them. Power drain low. I guess I can get both of these, can't I? Yeah, there we go. All right, start button when ready. Save the game. Like I said, this is like very, very basic, but I don't know, like, I think, because I played a couple of the other Nicktoons games as well, and none of them were as fun as this. Maybe I should try the other ones at some point. I don't know, but I don't remember them being as fun as this. Like, they didn't do them as well after this one as they did, like, the SpongeBob games or whatever. Because most of the SpongeBob games are still fucking peak. You can still play those and they're, like, super fun games, but... the Nicktoons ones, I think they just kind of ran out of ideas on what to do.
Fascinating. This looks like ghost hunting technology. Did you make these devices yourself?
No, the Fenton family are the ghost technology wizards. Not me.
The Fentons? Are they the freaky couple Vlad had trapped in his
Freaky.
room? If they're ghost experts, we should try to rescue them.
We can't. Vlad's too powerful with his ghost portal open. We need to find some way to shut it down.
If I spend some time studying these devices, perhaps we can build a
I love
gadget to close
the key, the lock, the portal equals Danny Phantom.
Heroes don't just sit around and study.
You're right. Heroes go out and save the world.
All right, let's get going. We'll figure out a plan once we get to Vlad's castle.
And then as you can see, there's like now an ability for Jimmy. Yeah, thanks, I know how to use an ability pod. Shrink ray. Right. So now you can shrink shit down, and it's really cool. Because then you can also, like, drag it around. It's they you know, they had some, like, pretty good ideas in this game. Danny, what the fuck are you doing? Overshadowed by the ghost. Yeah, I deal with the 6 ghosts. Let's go. Oof, this runs really well. A smooth 3 frames a second. Gotta love it. Like I said, I think that the GameCube version must have ran a lot better, probably. I wouldn't be surprised. Fair warning, I don't fucking remember what the other worlds were like. I remember something about the SpongeBob world. But not a lot, to be completely honest with you. Get out of here. I can kick this guy out of the other ghost, and then ba-boom. There we go. It's funny how easy it was to make like a decent game back in the day, right? It's just like, you know, try a little bit and then make a thing that people might enjoy, and then they're gonna pay you money for this. I mean, to be fair, this was still catered to kids too, so it's like, I don't know, there's you know, enough gameplay elements in here. It's not terrible. They got all the voice actors. They're you know, they're trying to be faithful to the source material. I think that's pretty fucking sick, because I know that there were a lot of games, like if I think about like the Incredibles game, for example, which is like sort of similar in that degree, where it was like, you know, you would have the abilities and then you would have to use those for puzzles and whatever. You would, you know, those are pretty good games, as long as they were like trying to be faithful. And then there were still, you know, a good bunch of these like tie-in games where they don't really have anything to do with the original source material, which is just a fucking shame. But this period in particular was kind of like sort of known for actually, oh, okay, for actually like trying with their tie-in games, which is, you know, just fucking awesome. Because I don't know, for a person like me who enjoys a game that's like faithful to the material, I don't know, like to me there's nothing cooler than like actually trying to, you know, to create something that's similar to the show that you already love, right? Because at the end of the day, I think that's what these kinds of games are supposed to do, is like they're supposed to invoke the feeling that you're playing the TV show, or in this case, I guess, like playing some sort of like what if of, you know, what if these characters actually got together. It's a kind of a shame though, because they never did a crossover like this. It was you know, it was Jimmy Neutron and Fairly Odd Parents, but there was never like a crossover with like SpongeBob or whatever. They just never did that. I would have loved to have like a, you know, like a feature, some sort of creature feature even, where they put together Danny and Timmy and Jimmy and SpongeBob or something like that. Like, it would have been cool to see that on the TV screen too, but they never did. I guess games make it more fun though. Also, internet, by the way. Internet. Just so you're aware. Right, this isn't shit that we can do yet.
Let's get tough.
I love this music. I love the jalopy music. Very fitting for Danny Phantom. Well, you know what? I guess we'll have to leave that one coin. Sorry. So, fun little fact. I used to think that the pink star was an ability that you would get for Patrick, because I when I was younger, I thought like, oh, you know, like, oh, pink star, that means we're gonna get to play as Patrick at some point. Not realizing that, like, that would make no fucking sense, because you don't get to play as any of the other main characters either. By the way, I don't know what the fuck Cosmo's supposed to be here. Like, Wanda's like a backpack. I'm assuming kind of like a proton pack thing for this weapon. But this weapon is just like... I don't know what this is. Some sort of, like, gun type thing. Right, and then... with Timmy... you get to swap between, like, ice powers now, I guess. Which are pretty cool, because you can actually freeze enemies. Oh, well, you can't do that without power, apparently. Sorry. Yeah, apparently, like, all abilities past the basic shit just cost power, which... you know, fair enough. I think it also, like, replenishes automatically. I always loved these enemies. I don't know why, but I always thought, like, that robots and shit that move on, like, one wheel are the coolest fucking thing ever. And then whenever I could, I would just... oh. Well. Whenever I could, I would just, like, try and take these dudes over. It's like fucking, it's like that, it's like the Robo-Duck from DuckTales, the original cartoon. I fucking loved that character for some reason. It was just, like, cool. I think I just always liked robots. I liked robots and cool robot suits, because I still love that shit. And, like, you know, like Iron Man and stuff. I still love those fucking characters to this day. Let's see, there's an... fuck. I think, do I have to be, like, Timmy to get in here? Or SpongeBob? There's a way to get in here. But I guess... it's neither of these. Anyway. One up. So, because Danny has the D on his chest already, that must mean this was like after... after a certain point in the series. I believe possibly after the time thing episode, which I guess would be the greatest enemy episode or episodes. I'm pretty sure anyway. I don't know if that's like 100% correct. But I would venture to guess. I would hazard the... Right. That didn't... Oh, yeah, let's close that.
Let's get time.
I think it would have been cool to get like an actual finale to Jimmy Neutron. Because like the third season genuinely had some of the best episodes. Like the early ones were good too, but the longer the show went, the better the episodes got. Yeah, I guess that's how it goes, isn't it? All right. So we can... I'm not even sure. Releasing a freeze attack affects multiple areas. Sure. And then... what does the shrink ray do? Upgrade allows the shrink ray to charge by holding down overload, and the shrink ray will shrink everything caught in the blast area. Power drain high. Still gonna get that though, because that sounds really good. And then we'll spend more money on, like, SpongeBob's new ability. For combat, I'm probably just gonna upgrade Danny the most if I can. I would argue that makes the most sense. I think there's a lot of point in, like, upgrading everybody else's ability. Like, for fighting, anyway. The special abilities, sure. Alright, so now we're, like, back at the start. Can we actually go into the park here? Or the zoo, I guess. Oh no. Well, that's a problem. That's fine, he's gonna spawn after. The fucking 2D Jimmy sprite is still so fucking cursed. I hate it. I remember Sam from this game, or from the show. Being one of my earlier, like, fictional crushes. Which I guess just I don't know, just worked for me, I guess. I know I'm not the only one there, though. Like, I know there's a lot of people who feel the same way. It's kind of one of those things that's like, you know, it's like with Shigo. Like, most people are just gonna be into her. Though, to be fair with Shigo, it's like, you know, she's an adult, so it's fine, even if you're still thirsting over her. One of my favorite things that I saw at one point was, like, you know, on TikTok, it was like a video going like, oh, Shigo's so hot, she's so, and then somebody posted in the comments, like, isn't she 16? And I've seen the "isn't she 16" comment so many fucking times on TikTok where it's like, this is an adult character. It's like, why are you stupid? Why do you speak when you don't know the slightest bit of information about the show? It's akin to the fucking shit that I often see where it's like, something is either very clearly, like, you know, an abridged thing of an anime, or something is very clearly being done in a game through mods, and it's like very obviously a mod or like some kind of like tampering with the original game, and then people go like, is this really in the game? I think my favorite one is like when it's like Minecraft or something like that, where it's just like, bro, hello? This is Minecraft. You really asking if this shit is like in base game and vanilla? It just goes to show how like how much more stupid and susceptible to bullshit people are these days. Even though, like, I don't know, you would assume that people would understand the concept of mods a lot better today than they did, like, I don't know, 10 years ago, right? Because 10, 15 years ago, modifying a game wasn't really something that was like that. You know, like, the modding scene certainly wasn't as big as it is today, right? Like, nowadays, every game that comes out, or at least like every AAA game or every popular game that comes out, gets like a modding community. But I don't know. I guess we are all just big old stoopy boys. Who here old and remember this game? Me, I'm old and I remember this game. Oh, fuck me. Like 2 big ass blue coins. I'll take all of these.
Let's get time.
Ah, okay, and so then you can use that probably to get that blue coin in that other room. Okay, that's interesting. I can't... Well, okay. Well, I guess... the issue here is that I shouldn't have shrank down this thing. But it's alright. Yeah, I think the difficulty in this game stemmed more from the fact that, like, your companions would just, like, die and then waste your extra lives, rather than you dying, because it, like, in general, this isn't really super difficult. remember when games were this cool. The guy just fucking straight up died.
Hooray! Amity Park is a ghost-free zone!
Not quite. There's still one big ghost we need to take care of.
Let's close his portal for good.
So, because Jimmy, like, got information on, I presume, everybody's world, does he know that Danny has, like, a secret identity? Because, like, I know that in like, the Jimmy Timmy Power Hour, for example, he calls Cosmo and Wanda, like, holograms, right? So he looks at it from, like, a very scientific perspective. I don't know how they, like, consider this here. Anyway, upgrade abilities. We're gonna upgrade Danny to the max. I don't even know, what does this do? It allows Danny to learn new Ghost Punch moves. Okay, that's fair. That's fine. Let's keep going. Vlad's castle. I love the plot point that Vlad, like, desperately wants to fuck Mrs. Fenton.
This place is
But
so creepy.
Jack Big Dick Fenton was just... You just can't compare to him.
Something out of a scary movie.
Too bad.
We need a way to shut
Too
down
bad
that
dick
ghost
shit.
portal. We can't beat Vlad while that thing is open.
Vlad would need a
Ugh.
lot of energy to keep
Go
that
away,
portal
Jimmy,
open.
you're disgusting. Go back to 3D.
That's why you're the boy genius.
The boy genius.
Let's find
Can't
this
believe Tom
generator and
Kenny
shut him down.
agreed to this. I mean, I guess so did all the other dudes, but... Oh, look, Spingelborb. Spingelbong. I love the noise SpongeBob makes when he yells like that. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck off. Come on. Lego. Alright. And now we can slurp up water. That's disgusting. Why did they make the... Why did they make the fucking model like that? Alright. This is such a nice little piece of you know, okay, yeah, and then for example here we have the same thing where we can use Jimmy's ability to shrink down and just like get in there. We'll actually do that in a second, hold on. I don't know what the fuck this is supposed to be. This is like a fan.
Let's get time.
Alright, let's go. If we're tiny, can we walk? Okay, no. So in this case, for example, we need, like, Timmy's ice ability. See, what a smart game. And then I don't know how we're supposed to get into this. I think this one might be like a thing where... Because I know that Danny gets an invisibility ability at some point, and I'm assuming that that's what this is. I think some things here, like the point is that you come back later in like free game mode or whatever, and then you get everything, but I don't really, I wouldn't say that there's a point to that exactly. By the way, one of my favorite things is that, yeah, when you drop down with SpongeBob while you know, being full of water, you actually do that little slam move there. It's kind of neat. Like I said, they honestly did such a great job. I was worried that this wasn't as good as I remember it being, but nah, it's pretty fucking good. Like I said, I think these are the levels that I remember the most, because for some reason this game also wouldn't save back when I played it. Or when I played it back in the day, rather. And then, you know, obviously this is the one that I would always end up replaying over and over and over again. Which is why, like, I remember this one the most, I think. I remember when consoles didn't fucking save games locally. Jesus. Video gaming has come so far, even since the days of the PS2. But it's so crazy that there's still, like, I don't know, there's, like, for as far as it has, like, evolved, I feel like there's even more issues with it nowadays. Which I guess is, like, sort of, you know, sort of makes sense. And I understand that, you know, like, this isn't an issue, really, if you're not somebody who, like, buys EA games or whatever. Where the company is just really, really scummy and you're basically constantly getting scammed out of your money. I do understand that part. By the way, this gorilla was also part of the actual show in Danny Phantom, the purple-back gorilla. Get out of here. Either way, yeah, like, it's a shame because, you know, like, imagine a game like this nowadays, right, where there's like so much more technology to potentially make it even cooler. But I just don't know. Like, if somebody were to make a game like this today, I don't think it would be that fun. It's like the new SpongeBob game that I played. See, by the way, the Patrick game I never even played. I think maybe I should do that pretty soon. If that's even out yet. I'm pretty sure it is. Because, like, the new SpongeBob game that I played back when it came out, that wasn't terrible. But it also wasn't like, it didn't have the same feel as, you know, like Creature from the Krusty Krab or like any of the other SpongeBob games. It wasn't bad, like I said, like I think it was still like a really good game, just the vibe wasn't exactly the one that I would have liked it to be. And if it's for something as big as SpongeBob, then, you know, I'm kind of worried that it, you know, something like, I don't know, Danny Phantom or whatever, which, like, totally isn't relevant anymore, today would, like, not have justice be done to it. Would not be done justice, that's what I meant to say. But then again, you know, like, we can all just be happy about the fact that we do have these games. That's like usually how I feel about most of these types of situations where it's like, you know, oh, today we wouldn't get this game anymore, but it's like, yeah, I don't need it today, right? I don't need remakes, I don't need remasters of stuff that already exists. Unless, you know, it's like only quality of life improvements and nothing else, but that's the problem, you know, like that doesn't happen anymore. It's like they always got to change some shit up, and I don't know. I don't agree with that. I think we should leave games as they are and really just like maybe upgrade the graphics if it's necessary, or you know, add like quality of life improvements. That's really all that should be like striven to be done. It's just like, yeah, you know, we had this old game, let's polish it up a little bit, let's make it look nicer. Although even there, it's like with some games that doesn't even work properly. Like Spyro, for example, you know, is the one that I always use as like the main example, even though I have to say that like at this point, you know, it doesn't look terrible. It doesn't look as bad as I expected it to, even though like in Spyro 3 there are a good amount of levels and characters that just look horrible compared to like the low poly PS1 versions. But what I would argue to say is that like, you know, you don't have to have modern graphics on everything. Like if I got this game, then I don't know, like I would hope that they would still keep like the cartoonish looks, even if, you know, things look a little awkward. I don't know, I can't really complain. There's some weird graphic shit going on in the back there. Fucky textures. I think we might already be at like max like attack level for Danny. As in we have enough money to buy it. I do love that, like, I don't know if any of you remember, but in the Greatest Enemy episode, the whole thing that happens is that, like, Danny's parents die. And so he moves in with Vlad, who, like, takes pity on him and wants to remove like his ghost half, because I think there was something where like he wasn't fast enough to save them with his ghost abilities or whatever. And what ends up happening is that like his parents die, and then Vlad is like, oh, you know, like because you have all this guilt, I'll remove like your ghost half for you, and then you won't, you know, you won't have to carry this guilt anymore, because you won't be the ghost boy anymore. And then what happens is that like for some reason like Danny's ghost half is like malicious as fuck and just like kills Vlad, and then takes his ghost half and like fucking fuses with it. And then that's why, like, That's why Danny becomes evil in the future. I should watch that again. Like, I just haven't seen Danny Phantom in so long. Even though I kind of rewatched. I should just watch I should honestly watch SpongeBob 2 again. I should watch the old episodes of SpongeBob. Oh, bye. Oh, that was quick. All right. Oh no, right, it was there we go. Generator down. It was like a wacky fucking story. But yeah, like I said, I really do have to like watch it again. It's I've kind of been like on this thing in this mood where like I want to rewatch all of the old shows that I used to watch in German again, because of just like I've seen so much shit in English, but you know, I grew up with it in German obviously, so for me personally, it would be more nostalgic to watch them in German again. And for a long time I was like, in my mind it was like, oh, I want to watch it in English because that's so much cooler and everything. But I don't know, I don't really mind watching it in German anymore. I think in some cases the humor and the writing and specifically usually the voice acting is a lot better when you watch it in English. In German, I mean, excuse me. How the fuck are you meant to... What? How did you get up there? How did Timmy get up there? What the fuck? And I guess I can do it this way. Well, why can you guys jump up here? Why can't I jump that high? Or is that just Danny can't do that? Yeah, it does look like Timmy can actually... Wait, hold on. Yeah, I think Timmy might be able to jump higher than Danny. No, okay, no, never mind. Yeah, no, they just like automatically jump up, and they want you, the player, I guess, to jump up on the wall there. Which is interesting because there's no real indication to tell you to do that. Whoops. There we go. Shouldn't, generally speaking, just destroying one generator already, like, reduce the amount of energy and, like, fuck up the portal? Because if he needs 3 generators... Ow, fuck me. If he needs 3 generators... Ah, well, video game. I don't know what that fucking nuts and bolts motherfucker is, by the way. Like, I know it's a robot or something, but also a ghost? But also ghost? Alright, by the way, we are about to level up Danny. Okay, I don't think I can... You haven't actually had a character die in a minute, so... The AI, like the companion AI, that's interesting. The companion AI also isn't actually terrible, surprisingly. I say that and then they're literally all stuck in this fucking corridor here. But you get the idea. Alright, nice. And then I guess we can put the rest in this. What does this do? Upgrade the last one, perform powerful water bomb slam attack when he is loaded with water. Okay, isn't that kind of what he does already anyway when you fall? I guess not. Alright, what do we got? I know there's also like an ability to like charge this thing up. I think like generally speaking the abilities usually like the basic fight abilities usually revolve around being able to charge up certain or well, like your basic attacks essentially. Oh, come on. There we go. Oh, fuck. Yeah, falling doesn't matter, it just damages you, it doesn't actually kill you. I think it's really funny because Danny just like I know he has like laser beam abilities and shit as a ghost, but he doesn't really use them in this game, I don't think. Like unless I guess I don't even remember. Does he like Shigo the fuck? Does he like Shigo his fists in the show and that's how he attacks? And that's what he's doing here? I don't remember. It's been so long since last I've seen my son. Oh, there's a new Danny ability. Yeah, this is the one where you pass through bars, I believe. Right. And then we can go and ghost. And yeah, and then with this one, Danny can also float. It's pretty cool. And then I think actually I was right. If you're in this mode, you can actually fight ghosts in their incorporeal form. I didn't realize there was another one of these. I thought it was just 4. I mean 3. So interesting to know. Apparently it does matter how far you are away when you're firing projectiles, because it seems like the closer you are, the more damage you do with the projectiles. That's really interesting. I didn't know that. Because I know that, like, for example, Jimmy's attack is, like, rather short range. Oh, fuck. Despite being, like, a ranged attack, it's just that the range isn't very long.
That should do it. Now that the ghost portal is out of the picture, let's go find Vlad.
Danny sounds so funny to me always, because, like, in the American dub, they obviously had, like, a kid voicing him. Or, like, a young teen. But in the actual show in the German dub... Game? Game? Hello? Can this not happen? Hello? That's fucked, because I didn't save in a while. I'm hearing something happen. Something's going on. Are you for fucking real right now? I don't want to fucking replay all of that. That was like fucking long as shit. What the hell? It was working fine. Up until now. Are you asking me right now? Are you for fucking real? I don't want to redo all of that. What the fuck? Well, this is bullshit. What if I, like, properly restart the game, like, actually, you know... What the hell? Okay, yeah, how about we load the state? Oh, you gotta be fucking shitting me. Do I have to, like... Maybe if I, like... No, it doesn't seem like that's... No, it doesn't seem like that's really doing it. Oh, you've gotta be fucking, like... pissing on my ass right now. This is so fucked up. That is, like... the biggest bullshit ever. Oh my fucking god. No, why would you do this to me? I thought we were cool, game. Well... That's fucked up. You guys wanted to sit here, listen to the fucking wind blow? Oh, this is making my brain hurt. I didn't realize it was gonna fuck up like this. It was going so well. God, I don't have the patience for this today. I don't want to play it all again. I played for like fucking almost 2 hours. Seriously? Dude, fuck emulation. Never mind what I said earlier. This is gay. What the fuck? Oh my lord. Wow. I really have just been fucking scrunkled by one of my favorite games ever made, huh? I'm not even sure what to do, because, like... Is it gonna... Like, it wouldn't work, probably, even if I, like, redid all of that. And frankly, that's assuming I even want to redo all of that. Oh, this is so fucking painful. I hate it when this shit happens. Well, I'm out of ideas. I'm out of motherfucking ideas. We try that again, maybe. Maybe it'll... I don't think it'll work. There's literally no way this is going to work. Fucking hell, dude. When was the last time that I saved? I just want to see, like, when I actually did save. It's, like, very far back, though. So, I guess, because I do kind of remember this shit happening with the original game, too. Is this just a thing that happened in this game? Like, was it not even my actual, like, CD? Is it just that the game was terribly programmed? I'm curious where the fuck we left off now. Because I know my ass didn't fucking save in the fucking castle. I don't want to do all that again, I'm sorry. Oh my fucking god. My fucking brain is gonna explode. I think that's like the start of well, it's not the start of Amity Park. I think it's around where Sam and Tucker are. But that's still so much to redo. All right. Let me see here. Is it the start of Amity Park? I could kind of see it being the start, but I don't think it is.
Fascinating.
Oh
This looks
god.
like ghost
Okay, it
hunting
is. It is the
technology.
start of Amity
Did you
Park.
make these devices yourself?
Yeah, I don't.
No, the Fenton family are the ghost technology wizards. Not me.
The Fintons? Are they the freaky couple Vlad had trapped in his throne room? If they're ghost experts, we should try to rescue them.
We can't. Vlad's too powerful with his ghost portal open. We need to find some way to shut it down.
If I spend some time studying these devices, perhaps we can build a gadget to close the portal.
This is no time to be studying.
Yeah, we're heroes. Heroes don't just sit around and study.
You're right. Heroes go out
Fucking
and save
Christ,
the
that's
world.
so obnoxious.
All right, let's get going.
Do I still have
figure out a plan
Outrun?
once we get to Vlad's castle.
Yeah, I still have Outrun 2006 on this. We're just gonna play fucking Outrun. I don't give a shit. This is so bullshit. I'm gonna change the name of the stream. I'll have to test if this even works at all. I have to test if this even works at all now. Because what it could also just be is the fact that, like, maybe the game is just broken on emulators. You never know. Like, that tends to happen sometimes. Alright, where's Outrun? Outrun. There's Outrun. Coast to coast. 2006 even. What if this also doesn't work? That would be funny. I guess 60 hertz should be fine. So sorry about that. I guess I don't get to play one of my favorite games from my childhood. Like I said, I'll have to figure it out. Yeah, continue. Create game data. But this is also a game that I've played the fuck out of. Outrun Coast to Coast. What? Hold on. Can I? Yeah, create a new license. My name is this is very loud. My nationality is based. My star sign is Scorpio. And then that's it. You can't choose an image. Maybe later. Yeah, by the way, you could play this. Yeah, you could play this online too. I'm sure there are a lot of online Outrun players right now. But yeah, we're gonna just do. Right, so there are different things here where you can you can drive with your GF, or you can, you know, just like drive regularly. Oh, I like this one. I don't have that one yet. Don't have any of these. It's funny, on when I played this on a different emulator, or well, on an older version of this emulator, this screen didn't work properly. We'll do automatic. I don't give a fuck. Oh, right. Okay. Just do random. I don't give a shit. I forgot how to play this. I don't know how to play this anymore, guys. I'm sorry.
Get ready.
Can I just say that this is way too fucking loud? Whereas the other game was, no, not memory cards. Where the other game was silent as fuck, this is just, like, terrible.
Race for the top position.
Right. I like I said, I don't remember. I'm sure I'll get into it again. But like, Outrun, generally speaking, was always about these, like, it's not really laps, I don't think. Well, I guess some of them might have laps in this one. But it was always, you know, about like, oh, be the fastest guy. It's like, it's a regular racing game. I forget how you drift. But it's kind of like different too, because it doesn't feel like a super realistic racing game, if that makes sense. Even though there's like not really much of a, you know, there's like no like supernatural factor really. Okay, that's just the camera. I think, was it square to drift? Was square the handbrake? But usually, like, Outrun, because it was originally an arcade game, it was about, you know, getting the, like, keeping the timer running. Whereas, you know, other racing games are usually just about, like, oh, you know, getting to the goal first. But in this one, it was also, like, you know, keep the timer running. Like, you have to drive fast enough to actually not have the timer run out. They kept that, because this game obviously wasn't in arcades, I don't think. But they kept that whole aspect of it, where it's a sort of also a time trial, quote unquote, but not really. Because it's both. It's like you have to win the race and then also like keep the timer going, which like you kind of have to keep the timer going to even be able to finish the race.
Race for the top position.
Which to a degree is also why I'm not bothering. Like, for racing games in real life, I prefer driving with like stick shift, but I will also say that like automatic is still like a very, very viable option. People that like genuinely, you know, have the opinion of like, oh, automatic is gay, are stupid. Like, automatic, I think, has the great oh no, I think this was drifting. Yeah, automatic has the great advantage of like, if you're a person who drives a lot and for like very long distances, yeah, stick shift is gonna fucking ruin your leg and it's gonna suck ass, trust me. But with automatic, you don't have that problem. Apart from, you know, automatic being like easier to drive. The feel, of course, is entirely different if you're driving a stick shift. Like that for me in particular is a lot more nice in a stick shift, but like functionally an automatic is like pretty chill. All right, I win. Rank triple X. Let's go next round. I should probably check how to drift, because I think that's going to be relevant in the next few races. God, I'm so fucking pissed. I was really looking forward to playing that game. All right, controls. Gear down, steer, gear up, change view, brake, accelerate. Okay. So how do you expect me to drift then?
Race for the top position.
It does seem like if you're steering with the stick, the control stick, he drifts like more automatically, whereas if you're using the D-pad, you're just sort of kind of going in a straight line, I guess. I don't know how else to say it. So the car doesn't exactly, like, it swerves a lot more when I'm using the control stick. How the fuck do you drift? So, and then, for those who aren't aware, what happens in Outrun is that you have different sections with very different, like, terrains you go through. Where also sometimes there can be, like, different weather aspects or whatever. It's like, it's very cool. AMD. Oh, AMD advertising in, like, the early 2000s. Thankfully, my next computer is going to be AMD. Well, in terms of the processor, anyway. Oh, there we go. Okay, you have to let go of the gas and then hit the brakes, and then that's when you drift. Like if you let go of gas, you hit the brakes, you steer, and then you go back on the gas, and that's how you drift. All right, I figured it out again. All right, we did it. We did all the actual races. Now we have to go back. Right. Now we have to... Oh, we don't have to go back. I guess we can just do this. How interesting. But yeah, like I said, this game's cool. This game's a lot of fun. OG Outrun was cool too, but it's like so very obvious that, you know... Oh. Noise. But it's like so very clear that, you know, it was made for the arcades. I just wanted to show off there. That didn't really pay off though. My face is itchy. Oh god, Jesus, I'm out of control. Yeah, I think the D-pad might be better here. I like the 4 fucking lane or is it 5 lane? I like the 4 lane fucking highway going through the city. Japan, what the fuck did you think the future would bring? See you later, fuckers. Obviously, the races get more difficult as you go on, but for the most part, it's like one of the things you really want to, you know, be mindful of is the slipstream, because the slipstream applies to every car in front of you, not just the racers. So what it is, or what will end up happening, is that you will. Oh, I thought I was in first already. But so what will happen is that you will be able to like drive behind civilian cars, and it'll still give you like a shitload of slipstream, and then you'll still be better off than, you know, when there's nothing, because that's how you like actually move up to like the guy in first here. I don't know if slipstream... That's fucked up. I don't know if slipstream works when you're drifting, though. I'm gonna have to restart this one. Can I just Yeah, I can just retry it right away. I fucked it up at the start. I gotta do it again. That was also like a fun part about this one always, is that you literally just had to... Get ready. Hit retry. A lot of other racing games, like I think Mario Kart often doesn't let you just, you know, immediately retry. They want you to like do the entire Grand Prix again. Oh fuck. I don't believe you can upgrade your car in this game, by the way. I don't think that's a thing. Like I said, I love the 4-lane highway. Imagine pitching that as a concept. We will have 4 roads next to each other going through New York City. Everybody can drive at a 400 miles an hour. $40 billion, please. We're not gonna launder the money, I swear. Oh shit. I just noticed he has an Italian... I think anyway, that's an Italian number plate. License plate, rather. Yeah, so this slipstream does not work when you're drifting. Apparently also I'm doing like way worse than I did earlier, so... So how about we retry that one again? Well, this works for me.
Race for the top position.
I'm also looking forward to actually, you know, being able to record or rather edit properly whenever the new PC is finally done. I've already like thought of how I'm gonna handle a lot of playthroughs depending on what they are. I think generally the idea is that for like, if I were to do something like this where I'm testing a game, I'm gonna make it into like more of a like heavily edited video, whereas something like an actual like proper playthrough of like a story game or whatever, I might you know, just split up the episodes and then turn that into more of like a less edited, but you know, like still cut down to like 30-minute video each, and then just have it be like small things that I really remove, like just to not drag it out like a million years. But if I were to play something like Minecraft, for example, which I am planning to do eventually, then it would be the case where I probably wouldn't cut out like, or I would barely cut out anything other than like, you know, really annoying parts. But I think with that one, the idea in general would mostly be to create this like playthrough where, you know, you kind of see everything, because Minecraft for me, for the most part, isn't so much about like, you know, like action shit and crazy mods, but more about just like creativity, building stuff. But yeah, you know, like that'll happen when it happens. Well, I definitely do want to like get into Minecraft at some point for like a proper playthrough. I think that would be very adequate, very cool, very fun too. Oh shit. Oh, fuck. I think I'm fine, though. There we go. No! Are you fucking kidding me? He came in at the last fucking second. I'm sorry, I can't let that stand. I love these people PNGs. You think these guys got paid for this shit? Fucking let's go again. I had a feeling that was gonna happen after that last fuck up there. But yeah, you know, like that's kind of the the ideas that I have going forward, because there are, you know, a good amount of games that I want to also play solo without the input of like anybody, where I'm just, you know, on my own actually recording stuff. I don't mind, you know, having like an audience on Discord, especially if it's my friends, or, you know, having them in a call with me while I'm playing shit. That's not the issue. I think for the most part, though, it would be nice to also like be able to experience games on my own. Something like Yakuza or whatever would obviously still remain streams, but there might be other... Sorry, I'm scratching my nose again. There might be other like story games where I would want to like play it on my own and not necessarily have somebody watching. It would also like give me the opportunity to record more. I mean, I would, you know, like, even if nobody's watching it, I'm still, you know, recording and streaming it. But if it's on my own time, then there's also just like no need to actually try and get together with anybody. Bye, motherfucker. Drifting isn't always required in this game, by the way. It's like here, for example, I would say it kind of is, because you can't really switch... Oh god. Switch directions that easily. Here... Could have probably taken that on my own, too, without drifting. But yeah, like I said, it's a racing game. But it's one that's like, I think, I don't know, it feels very different to other racing games. Outrun always kind of had that feeling of like, it's not like a special kart racer or anything, but it's cool as fuck still. Because it kind of manages to just do some interesting stuff with the very basic like control scheme that it has. And controlling it also like feels very fast. You know, I think one of the most important things about a racing game is that it feels very fast. Okay, I was gonna say, you better not fucking do this to me again.
Get ready. Race for the top position.
Yeah, we'll go for like, I don't know, maybe like an hour more, and then I'll leave it at that, because then I'll just play some Monster Hunter. I could have streamed Monster Hunter, but like I'm still in the middle of the story, so you know, that would be like something that's also more fun if I have like somebody else with me, if I'm just playing Monster Hunter regularly, you know. Like without the story, I mean. Even though I don't know if there's like really a point in playing it without, if you're like already through the story. I don't know. I don't really like. Wilds is kind of the first Monster Hunter in a while, apart from like one or two of the older ones, that I also didn't play that extensively, but this is like kind of the, I guess you could say it's like sort of the first one that I'm really playing extensively. So, it's also something where I'm like, I kind of appreciate the idea of playing it on my own and not having to, you know, like, focus on a stream or whatever, which I don't really like do that much anyway, but I'm the kind of person where I'm like, if I'm streaming something, I also want to talk and okay, and shit like that. So, well, that's not fucking cool. And so if I'm, you know, if I'm streaming something, or if I'm playing Monster Hunter and I'm trying to like actually enjoy it on my own, that doesn't mesh well with a stream, I would argue. Because then I will usually like just not talk as much, and I think for like a gameplay stream, while that can be fine, I think personally that it's probably better if you're like actually talking about stuff, because then, you know, it makes it a bit more interesting than just watching the video game. Nice. I'm getting back into the groove of things with this. Ah, shit, that was, yeah, I was too slow with that one. Alright. I was too slow with the Switch on that. Speaking of the Switch, they did say holiday season, but I wonder if that's like, I don't think it's gonna be summer. I don't know if it's gonna be summer. I think it's probably gonna be Christmas, which is fine. Just means I'll be able to afford the Switch 2, the $800 Switch 2. I will be able to afford it much easier. I'm curious about the launch, like, game lineup, too. I would assume ZA. I would assume ZA is going to be in there. Which I will most likely get and play, like the... As shitty as the Direct was, I believe that, you know, like ZA might actually turn out kind of fun. I like that they're returning to form with the design for a lot of the characters. I think probably sort of a forced thing that they're... I'm retrying it again. I think sort of a forced thing that they're doing because I think if they took Kalos and gave it the new art style, people would not be super happy about that. And to be fair, the art style of Scarlet and Violet also isn't that great anyway, so it's understandable. I can't wait for AI Pokemon. That's gonna be when you know that the series is gonna get better, because even an AI couldn't fuck up the Pokemon game as bad as Game Freak does. I do wonder how many like game developers, and especially like AAA game developers, are gonna start using AI in general for, I don't know, like if it's just ideas, I guess that's fine, but gotta scratch again. But like if it's, you know, if they're actually gonna involve it, which I don't think they will. I don't know the Japanese stance to a lot of AI stuff. And then also, like I said, you know, like a lot of the stuff that we've heard about in the last couple of months to a year where AI was being used to do anything. I don't, you know, like often I think it may have been blown out of proportion for like shock factor and also the factor of like, you know, clickbait and whatever. It's like, oh, they're this company using AI to make their thing, and then like you read into it a little bit more and it's just like, oh, okay, they were using like an untrained model to come up with ideas and like design concepts or something like that, and it's like, oh, okay, they ended up only using like a part of the whole design that the AI spat out or whatever. So, you know, a lot of the time, and especially recently, it really is just for shock value and also like clickbait, because it's really easy to like get people talking and mad about AI, because that's like literally all they do these days. Like artists specifically too. Like not to say that like all artists do this. Like I know a lot of like, or I've seen a good bunch of like younger artists who do very much like lean into the talking a lot about AI and complaining a lot about AI and whatever. Which, you know, I do understand. It is a hold on. It's, you know, still a very topical and a very, very like important conversation to be had, but the problem is that as with a lot of things, there are a great many of people who don't really want to engage in the proper conversation and will rather just go like, no, I think it's bad, so I don't like. Which is, I don't know, like, okay, but at the same time also, like, I don't know, if you're gonna have the conversation, you should at least be, like, which I guess, you know, is kind of a topic in general, but if you're gonna have the opinion, then I think you should at least have some amount of, like, respect for the other person's, like, opinion. Or at least look at it in some sort of way where you don't just stamp it off as, like, the Hitler of artwork just because you don't agree with it. Because I think there's a good amount of, like, there's a good amount of things that an AI can do that isn't necessarily, like, terrible. You know, like, as usual, it depends heavily on how it's used and what it's used for. Like, the tool in and of itself obviously isn't evil, right? It's the problem is that people are the issue, because I think there's you know, there might be uses for AI outside of art, obviously, that are, like, actually kind of cool, you know? If an AI is smart enough to, like, correctly diagnose somebody with a terminal illness or a critical illness where, you know, time is of the essence, I think that's an entirely fair way of using it. And, you know, maybe it should be used as, like, a tool to help doctors or whatever diagnose things properly. I win, by the way, just so you know. Jennifer? What the fuck was that bitch doing behind the wheel? But it's the issue of, like, just, you know, taking something and going like, no, I don't like that, because it doesn't align with my worldview, where, I don't know, my argument would be that maybe it's more important to consider the good than it is to, like, just piss and moan about the bad, which isn't to say that, you know, all of it is good or all of it is bad, because that's never the case with, like, basically anything. But I think if we, like, put down the pitchforks for a second and step aside from the shitty, like, Google search engine AI or the scummy fucking image or AI image generators, like, maybe we can sort of see that there might be some amount of good that can be done with this tool. A lot of harm, of course, too, you know, like, the options for, like, misinformation and scamming and creating, you know, elaborate ways of harming people is gonna be off the walls. But then there's the question of, like, how can we implement these safeguards? You know, do we make it so that it's only a thing that a select few people can use? The actual, like, best versions of, or the actual proper, like, I don't know, like, not confidential use, but, like, you know, if we have, like, a software or an AI that can, I don't know, create near human-like interactions or facsimiles or pictures or whatever, Like, do we just make that public? Or do we, I don't know, like, is there a way to only supply it to, like, people who will use it in the way it's intended? I don't think so, because that's, how would you do that? It's literally impossible. You can't do that with any software, really. Whoops. Well, I win anyway, so. About 2 seconds behind me, Jesus. I was fucking cooking with this round. But I still think, you know, that the whole conversation is an interesting one, because I don't... On one hand, I welcome the idea of, like, making a job a lot easier.
Get ready.
Where on the other hand, I also see the danger in that, for sure.
Race for the top position.
At the end of the day, I mean, I guess you want to risk the pros and the cons, right? As usual, as always. But of course, you know, it's easier to just say thing bad and then get a 7,000 billion likes on Twitter for that. I wonder if there will be a time, aside from, like, you know, AI shit right now, I wonder if there will ever be a time where people will actually end up calling it X, like, unironically, and without the preface of like, saying, like, you know, oh, now it's called X or whatever, like I sometimes do. But even then, it's like, when I do it, it's like in jest. I wonder if we're ever gonna get people, like, genuinely calling it X in the future. Because I know that, like, sometimes news outlets will call it X, but then they will also call, like, X, formerly known as Twitter. But I wonder if, like, colloquially, there will come a point where people will just call it X without the appendix of, you know, used to be Bluebird. Disregarding, like I said, any kind of, like, AI or whatever, like, that's not in connection, or even, you know, like, Elon Musk or whatever, like, we're not talking about that. I'm just talking about the concept of the site on its own. I do wonder what it's... Hell yeah, I did it. I do wonder what it has to be like when you're genuinely bombarded the entire day, because, like, if you're you know, always on the internet, obviously you're gonna be, like, bombarded with, like, news about Elon Musk and Donald Trump and whatever other political bullshit is going on in the world.
Get ready.
That has to be, and I know that, you know, it's like just terminally online basically, but I wonder what that has to feel like. Like, because there's an amount of downtime that I have from the internet, which is basically my entire day, really. And by that I mean, like, not that I'm not necessarily at a computer or not necessarily, like, Googling something or talking to people, but what I mean is, like, the amount of information that I take in, that's, like, actual information and not just some, like, bullshit memery or whatever, is very, very short. Like, I have a lot of screen time, but that's usually because I'm, like, playing video games or just because I'm at work and I work on the computer. But even in my free time, when I'm doing shit at the screen, it's never, like... It's never really, like, doom scrolling or reading stuff on Twitter or like, reading articles. Unless I, you know, like, I stumble upon something or somebody posts something that I find interesting and then I'll read the article. But I certainly don't, like, go out of my way to seek out, like, political or, like, real-world information more like beyond the watch the news in the morning and in the evening type of thing. Because in my mind, it's kind of a waste of time a lot of the time because, you know, news outlets aren't orienting themselves or orientating. They're not oriented to the idea of, like, giving you information or you know, providing you with an unbiased point of view, or just like a very objective point of view, or rather an objective explanation and retelling of the events, but rather, you know, depending on where they get their money from and how they are aligned politically, they will quite happily skew things a little bit sometimes to incite outrage, maybe, sometimes, a lot of the times. Fuck me, Jesus Christ. That was a little fucked up. So what my question is like, how must that be for a person who is like, day in and day out, for hours upon hours involving themselves in like political topics or just like heavily opinionated topics beyond what is normal? Because I think, you know, there's like plenty of opinions that go around every day when you just like talk to people, but that I usually take more as like, maybe not small talk, but like, you know, just normal conversation. Like, the exchange of opinions is pretty normal, but I mean that more in the sense of like ideological, like genuinely important. I think that's gotta be like the fucking worst, honestly. That has got to be like, oh yoy. That has got to be like genuinely devastating to the psyche. Like even on my meme sites that I visit, or the one meme site that I visit, even there, it's a matter of like, there will be times when I just go like, alright, this is some stupid ass opinion, or some like really, really gay fucking cringe meme that's like, that doesn't really do anything other than, you know, either like be offensive on purpose to own the libs who aren't on the site anyway, or it's just like genuinely some like completely fucking stupid ass shit that I don't care about, and then I will just go like, all right, you know, maybe that's enough of the internet for today. Maybe that's enough of like other people. Fuck off. Maybe that's enough of like other people's content for the day. Or like other people's opinions for the day, and then I will just like turn to either, you know, playing video games or watching playthroughs of games or watching like interesting videos on YouTube. I don't know, because like that's the way I use the internet is, you know, maybe not the healthiest way of using it, but I think it's a lot healthier than what a lot of other people do. Because, you know, I'm not really active on social media. When I use the more popular apps, it's usually for the sake of entertainment rather than social interaction. I would argue that like Discord is the one place that I use for social interaction. That isn't, like, you know, like, IRL. Like I have an Instagram, but I forgot the login for it, and I also don't use it anyway. I have a Facebook. I don't use my Facebook whatsoever. I have a Twitter. I have 2 Twitter accounts. One of them is for the channel. The other one is for basically memes with some friends, but then also like barely using that nowadays. So the reality of it all is that, like, again, I just don't really use these sites. And I don't like any of the other ones, like, I don't know, fucking Threads or whatever. I just don't have it all. I have Snapchat. I used it for a little bit. Haven't opened it in, like, I think almost a year at this point. And so, like, most of my time on the internet is, like, consisting of watching shit either that I've already seen to fall asleep to, or watching new content to keep myself entertained. Usually long-form playthrough type of thing. Sometimes, like, interesting videos on video games, or, like, mods, or something like that. And usually also by people that aren't, you know, like, in it for the spectacle of the thing, but rather for, like, the informative aspect of it. Which, you know, I think in that regard, it's entirely possible to use the internet in that way and then it being healthy. At least I would say so. I don't know, like, I'm sure there's even healthier ways to use the internet. I'm sure somebody could think of something, but, like, for me in that regard, and considering how much worse I could be off, I think it's fine. I don't think I'm like necessarily doing anything wrong in this situation. I certainly don't go out picking fights on the internet. I don't, like, if there's an opportunity to troll, it's usually something that, like, builds itself out of the moment of the situation. Because I really don't want to engage in, like, fights online at all. I like it. There's nothing to gain for me there. I don't want to fight with people. I'm fine with having discussions, but that's not really a thing that you can do on the internet properly anyway. Fuck. Well, I think this is over. Yep. All right. It might be possible to get that guy, but small chance. Very, very small chance. All right, let's try that again. And yeah, so, like, basically, like I said, like, usually, like, the internet for me is a tool for entertainment for the most part. And then even in those, like, few occasions where I do want to proclaim my opinion, it's usually on stream, or sometimes I will write something on the internet. And even then, it's, like, often in that small amount of, like, instances that it happens, there's an even smaller amount of instances where I actually do end up writing or posting the comment. Like, sometimes I will just excuse me, maybe one more time. I don't have a tissue, I don't think. And I don't want to get up because I'm racing right now. You have some, like, dirty boxers that I could fucking snort it into? No, that's a shirt. I don't want to do it in that. There's a pair. All right. I hope that'll be fine for a couple minutes. I guess I could have also used nose drops. Whatever. If it doesn't get better, I'll use nose drops. But anyway, yeah, like, I don't really want to engage in, like, I don't want to say, like, opinionated content, because sometimes opinionated content can be interesting, but I think it's more of a I don't want to engage in an exchange of opinion on the internet, because that's one of those things that's like, or I guess specifically on social media, because my argument would very much be that it is a waste of time, and if you're not doing it with friends, then there's, like, quite literally no reason to do it at all. I think I can have great conversations and discussions with my friends. That's kind of where it ends. Oh, rhymes even. That's beautiful. It's like I planned for it all along, but I didn't. Either way, like I said, my point at the end of the day with this is that I'm not really seeking to exchange, like, my personal worldview with other people. If an opportunity arises to do that, where I can think, like, okay, you know, this might be like a person where we can talk about this in a civil manner. More often than not, that just happens in real life, though. And at the end of the day, like I said, like, for me, what would be, like, interesting is I kind of want to know. I probably don't want to know, but I want to know, like, it's sort of like a morbid curiosity type of thing, where it's like, I'd love to know what it's like for a person who is, like, genuinely engaging in exchange of opinion on the internet, or even just, like, an intake of opinions on the internet for, like, an entire day every day. Like, it's fascinating to me, because I don't think I could ever take that, right? I think I'm at a point in my life where I'm tolerant enough to accept other opinions, but the problem is that most opinions aren't really built on anything regarding experience, but more so on mob mentality, in a sense. Where, like, you know, the general opinion is being followed because it's the general, yeah, I should have drifted there. Because it's the general opinion, and then a lot of people will, like, just go along with that because it's what's popular and what a lot of people believe. Which is fine, because, you know, if a lot of people believe that something is wrong, okay. Audio just improved, apparently. But if a lot of people believe that a certain thing is, you know, like, wrong or morally questionable, then usually that will mean, I have to, yeah, turn it down again a little bit, then that will usually mean that that is backed by the general populace seeing it as something that is wrong. But it's also a matter of fact that, like, specifically on the internet, there are so many groups of people that, while maybe not sizable in comparison to the silent majority, but are just such a loud minority, or vocal minority, I should say, that it becomes kind of hard to distinguish between, is this an opinion that a lot of people hold, or is this just an opinion that gets propagated and talked about a lot? Because the people who hold the opinion are very loud about it, right? I think in general, you could argue most likely that the latter is the case, where it's just like, it's a stupid opinion that a good chunk of people holds, but the reason why it's such a quote-unquote popular opinion, or such a well-known opinion, is because the people who hold it are just very vocal about it. Because I still think that, like, if you were to, you know, go outside and talk to people, most people you will meet will still be your, like, average Joe Schmo kind of guy, right? Like, you won't have a lot of the supposed variety of personalities and people that you see on the internet, because also, like, you know, a lot of people on the internet can just lie or just engage in, like, identity politics for reasons of belonging to a group that they can't belong into in real life, maybe not outright lying, but sort of skewing the facts, and then, you know, of course, also sometimes just outright lying. But I've kind of adopted this opinion of, like, if it's on the internet said by a person that you don't know and you don't trust, maybe don't take it for granted. Maybe take it with a grain of salt. A massive kernel, if you will. Kernel. I've posted misinformation on the internet, and now the guards are all trying to kill each other. Funnily enough, that's not really something Snake would do. Not that that was a very good Snake impression, but I suppose, you know, like I said, like, what was my point? Jesus, sorry, I'm trying to think and trying to drive. The two don't always mix very well. But I guess, like, at the end of the day, my point is just that I think it would be crazy for me to live in a mind where, you know, there's constant, like, influx of opinions and political information. I don't know. I don't think I could stand that. Right, and then my point earlier was also that I think that, like, the average person you will see in real life and talk to will most likely be a very, very normal average person, and you can't really compare it to the person you see on the internet. You know, in regards to, like, a lot of different aspects, politically, physically, even romantically, especially, right? Like, that's always a big topic. I think the internet has sort of, like, not ruined relationships, because anybody who's in an actual relationship most likely didn't meet their partner over the internet, but rather in, like, a normal manner. Or even if it is over the internet, it isn't over, like, dating platforms or social media necessarily, but more over, like, maybe instant messaging or whatnot, where a much more, like, personal connection can be established. But I think the internet does kind of skew the idea of what a relationship should be, which, you know, is obviously bad for the younger generation who is like getting into dating right now, because if you go in with the wrong idea of what a stable relationship should be, then you're not going to be able to hold a stable relationship, because that's obviously not what it is. Somehow I didn't crash there, which is impressive. And you know, like, some people will say that there's like a conspiracy behind that or something. I don't think that's the case. I think it's just kind of the status quo, right? Like, we have this with every new generation, where the last generation will see what they're doing and it'll be a matter of like, oh, these kids nowadays are so crazy, they're doing all this weird shit that we didn't do, and it's strange and it's not what we're used to, and so it's obviously bad. I don't know, like, there's I think, you know, it's almost always a matter of like, you know, this is what we know, which is why we say that that's the thing that's better, because it's just something we're comfortable with and we know. Maybe the next generation has a few ideas of what will work. I can only say that I certainly find myself very, very often saying that the next generation is fucking stupid, and I'm probably correct in some regards there. But then I also have to say that, like, I'm pretty certain that my parents and everybody before my generation also said that about my generation, so I will argue that it's kind of, oh Jesus, I will argue that it's just sort of a thing where, oh no, oh, still rank A, that's not bad. Bay Area, let's go. It's hard to get like full AAA rank on these, but I don't think I'm gonna go for that. I think I'm just gonna go for like the best rank possible. It doesn't have to be, you know, insane. Okay. I don't even know how you can fuck this one up, other than like not hitting cars for a while. Oh, I hate this one. That was fantastic, I agree. Okay, I can do that. That doesn't count as crashing, apparently? Let's go Big Forest. Like I said, in my opinion, it is most likely a thing of like, the last generation will always say the same thing about the new generation, because, you know, they're what the fuck? They're doing new things and we don't know it and we don't understand it, and that's why we say it's weird. I will still say that, like, there are a lot of cases where it most likely is stupid what the new generation does, but then it's always also, I think, important to remember that the old generation also did things that the even older generation thought were stupid, most likely. So, you know, I think at the end of the day, we maybe shouldn't look at it as such a serious thing, especially if the newest generation is like very, very young. Because young people will always do dumb shit. That's like, oh, look, it's Sonic. But, well, So much for avoiding you. Stop! I wasn't even that close to that one that time. Please stop. I think that like a little smiley face there, the little emoticon is very fuckable. Alright, let's go. Well, that's... Oh. Well, I mean, I'll take it. Some of them are really unfair. Oh, well, that didn't work. Oh, wait. Fuck. Well, well, it's almost AAA. Legend. Sure, I guess you could say I am. Probably gonna be B, right? Didn't have to say anything about that one. Bitch. I don't think it matters. You can do all of the tracks, but it doesn't really matter if you do all of them. I don't think it's like a Shadow the... Stop. Fucking... I'm so slow. It's not like a Shadow the Hedgehog thing where you have to do all the other ones to get like the next... Okay. Well, it was B. It was alright. Okay. Let's die? I feel like the ghosts are already ahead of us in that regard. I can do that. Well, there you go.
Rank A.
Hell yeah. Like I said, I'm not gonna try to go for like all AAA ranks here. Unless you have to like get a certain amount of A rank to... Oh, average... Oh, okay, no, so I do have to... Right. So you do have to go through all of these. So you can actually like drive from here, for example. So you don't have to do the entire stage again, but we still have to go left on every single one and then also like actually do well.
Get ready.
So you do have to do all of them. I was wrong. Anyway, this is all to say that like while I agree in a lot of aspects that some of the examples of the newer generations aren't exactly maybe as smart or as cool as we would like them to be. It's also always a matter of like, you know, were we ever really? Krillin. Oh wait, I just... Oh. I just retried it. Oh, is it... Can you only do one section? Am I misremembering? Maybe I am misremembering. Fair. Anyway, yeah, like I said, I still think there's an ounce of truth to saying that, you know, the newer generations are kind of... Oh yeah, okay, it is exit. The newer generations are kind of dumb and stinky. Because a lot of times they are, because everybody who's young is. But ultimately, you know, I think it's more of a matter of like, maybe we're looking at things from a skewed perspective because we simply don't quite understand them as well as we would like. By the way, I should check because I'm pretty sure I can, like, buy cars. Yeah, there it is. I like that you can only buy Ferrari cars. Is it literally all Ferraris? I think it might all be Ferraris. What is change class? Oh, Outrun class or Intermediate A. And this one is Novice, okay. Interesting. I'll try finishing up this and then I'll probably leave it at that for today, but it's fine.
Get ready.
We have to go all left this time.
Hit the cars. Let's start.
Damn. But apparently some people that I know that work with like kids are, as in like kindergartens and whatever, are very adamant about the idea that like the newer generations are not behaving properly, most likely. And this is something where, like, you know, now the question is, you know, who's at fault here? Because apparently, supposedly, they're not being raised properly because they're, you know, not as smart and as, I don't know, like, developed mentally as, you know, like the generations before them. Which I believe easily, because I know there's a lot of fucking iPad parents that, you know, just don't know what to do with their kids and just put them in front of the TV or the iPad and then just go like, oh, well, you know, he's not screaming, he's not yelling about shit. I don't know. Whenever I have kids, I definitely, I think I've said this before on a stream, but like, I'm 100% gonna like designate screen time. It's not gonna be the entire day, like for a long time. You know, when they're like teens and adults, I can't control that then anymore, but if we're talking like from age 1 to like 15, there's definitely gonna be, or at the very least, like age 1 to 10, there's definitely gonna be like limited amount of time that they're gonna be allowed to like use electronic devices and shit. I think that's the way to go about it. That's also to a degree how I grew up, which, you know, like, may not be the smartest thing, but I think you can be like, you can set rules like that and have it like not be the end of the world. You can give your children some freedom, but there should also be like I think both is like extremely important, right? It's really important to set ground rules and say something like, you know, you can't sit in front of the screen playing shit and doing nothing for like 20 hours when your brain is still developing. It's the same thing, you know, with like teaching kids about concepts like losing or you know, like death or whatever. I think that it's really important to not like confront them with the extreme harshness of it right away, but I do think that you have to give like somewhat of a realistic outlook. I always enjoy, I think that like, for example, the idea of like, you know, like people like back in the day when people were like, oh, you know, like Rover, you know, he was old and he went to a farm up north and now he's happy there because they're taking care of him really well. I think that's one of those like little white lies that you can tell kids that kind of still conveys a similar feeling, right? Because they're still like, you know, like, oh, you know, we can't go visit him because he's, you know, he's too old and he would get too excited, and, you know, then he'd get sad because we can't take him home anymore because we can't take care of him. But, you know, he's doing better now. And, you know, like, because that concept still gives, like, this idea of, like, okay, there's some loss that's happening, right? Which I think is something that you'd have to prepare children for, even if it's harsh, right? Like, that's one of the harshnesses of this world, where it's like, I think it is important to teach kids it that way, because the concept in and of itself is like easier to explain than saying like, you know, like, oh, you know, he's dead, he's never coming back again. It's like, that's a bit too like hard. But I think the whole like farm idea I always thought was pretty smart, because I think that's a very child-friendly way of even explaining the entire thing. I think so. Anyway, maybe I'm entirely wrong here. Maybe I'm entirely in the wrong here, and, you know, maybe there's like a better way of doing it, but I personally believe that like that is kind of a way of like, you know, letting somebody down gently. If that makes sense as a comparison. So we're gonna go right and then all left this time. But like I said, you know, I want my kids to grow up like regular people and not always glued to a screen. I think that's, speaking of glued to a screen, my fucking eyes are burning. I have so much, it's fucking crazy, like, I have so much goddamn screen time now. And it's starting to, you know, it's starting to affect my eyes. I genuinely live for these moments where I'm in the car or whatever, where I'm not constantly like glued to a fucking screen, but like looking at something in real life. I live for those moments now. And also, like at night, for example, I tend to, like, even if I have, you know, like a YouTube video on, I just turn away from the screen and fall asleep like that, because I'm not gonna lie, it's like, it can sometimes be very, very, like, painful to just stare at shit, like, for so many hours in the day. But, you know, it's like, it's part of my job, so. But still, it's, you know, it's something like I want to avoid for as long as possible. Okay, now we're doing left. Even though we've already been to the big forest. But I think it's a matter of like, you have to kind of do it like all across the board. You have to get like the proper gradings all across the board, because then it tallies it together. Oh shit. I think it's like incredibly important for kids and you know, young people to have some connection to the real world. And also like there's a lot of fun things you can do that are like off screen, right? I literally like, you know, reading comics, that's fun for kids, right? Playing board games and shit like that. Like, I don't know, I fucking live for that sort of stuff. I enjoy it a lot. And I think that, like, even in the future, kids probably will. Yeah, and not everything needs to be electronic and, like, a screen and some fucking video game. And like I said, you know, I believe that there's, like, a certain amount of strictness that needs to be implemented. Like, you shouldn't, you know, like, I don't want to make Rose look bad or anything, but like I think, I don't know if she grew up like super strict. Like the stories I've heard about her, it's like, I don't know, this sounds standard, but then also my parents were like hard but fair type of parents, right? I don't think I was ever like unfairly treated. Even when I did like bad shit, like sure, maybe in the moment it might have seemed like unfair, but I think generally speaking, the things that I got in response to the things that I did were usually always like proportional, I would say. Oh, again, this is different, right?
Oh, yeah.
Which is to say, you know, you shouldn't forbid everything. And though we also had the UFOs earlier, by the way. You shouldn't forbid everything, but there should be like a very clear line of like, you know, this is okay, this is not. Oh, again? I guess there's like a pool of things you can get. Maybe also depending on like how many points you've gotten. Oh shit. But you know, like I said, it's a matter of looking at it in the perspective of like, there are things that are good to do for kids. Like I'm not gonna say that like, you know, having fun through video games and whatever isn't good, because that's what I fucking do. But I'm also an adult, so yeah, I think we have to go like right, and then to left. Yeah, like I said, like I'm also an adult, so in that regard, like I can control what I do, and I can, you know, like for me, it's not so much about development anymore, and more about, like I said, like just entertainment. The problem is that like the entertainment that I can engage in and that I can understand is very different from what kids can understand, and I think that potentially it isn't even so much an issue of like children consuming content, it is about the type of content that they consume, right? Like you know, I was always watching cartoons and my TV shows and whatever that kind of like always, I will always say like they kind of fueled my creativity, because like in a lot of the cases where I was watching shows, I would always like think about like, oh, how would I solve this situation? Even when I was really young, like I would always think about like, oh, how would I solve this situation if I was a character in the show? And like, you know, even going as far as to say like, oh, what would my character be and look like if I were in the show, or something like that, right? I think there's a lot of creativity that can be like ascribed there, because also like a lot of I think I have to explain this a little bit, but like for a lot of the for a lot of the oh wow, that was terrible. I'm not gonna retry. For a lot of the yeah, right, so there, like in school you would often have like writing exams in German, right? And oftentimes the idea and the point of this was to write a story or something, you know, like write a creative story or like an original story or whatever, you know, like these would be our exams, would like in German specifically would consist mostly of like essays and whatever. Scratch my nose again. Alright. And then for me, a lot of the time, mostly because I was made to, you know, study and read books quite often, but also because I really enjoyed reading comics and whatever, I would end up getting A's and stuff because I just managed to like write stories and oftentimes take like existing stories that I read out of a book or whatnot, or you know, like a comic book or whatnot. I was able to like, you know, retell those in my own words, even though like as a kid even there were a lot of books that I just really didn't enjoy reading. There were sometimes, you know, there were some books where I was like, okay, I don't want to read this. This is fucking boring. And then, you know, obviously you would have to write like a book report or whatever about it. However, you know, sometimes there were books that like really interested me, and then I managed to like take stories from those, or even like take stories from like episodes of TV shows that I watched and turn those into, you know, my own stories. And I think in general that is like a thing where, okay, yeah, you know, like watching TV can be like helpful for a child's development, because they, you know, they're exposed to stories, and then they, you know, they will be able to retell those stories and maybe put their own spin on it, right? Like I had some, I wish I could remember like some really good one, but I remember specifically that I had some apparently like genuinely impressive stories sometimes, you know, and teachers told me that, and you know, like that's, for a kid you just go like, oh, okay, cool, thanks, but like in retrospect, thinking about like a 10 to 12-year-old writing like an actually impressive story to what was like a 25, close to 30-year-old, like I think that is impressive, you know, if a kid of that age wrote a story that I would describe as like impressive or fun or whatever, like I would think that that's like crazy, because you wouldn't assume that from a young person. And that is then all to say that like wow, okay, I fucked it. Well, alright. And that is then all to say that, like, you know, for me, a lot of these stories came from gaining media literacy through watching TV shows and movies and whatever. And so, in my opinion, I think that it's entirely possible for kids to gain something out of, you know, watching TV or even playing video games. But there has to be like a base level of understanding, I think. for what they're seeing and what they're watching. And I think that in particular is where a lot of it fails these days. Okay, now we're gonna go all right. I don't know why it gives me like a D and an E. Is it because I haven't done the last 3 yet and it doesn't like carry over? Because I got A's on all of those. But anyway, yeah, like I said, I think that that's most likely. That there's most likely a possibility for all of these things to still be, like, beneficial to a child's development. The problem is, like I said, it's the question of what the content that they're watching is. You know, if you show, like, a 2-year-old... I don't know, like 18 hours of Coco Melon. I don't know. It's probably not going to be that great. I don't know about Coco Melon. I don't know how good the content is. I don't know how good it is for children. But I think there are like kids shows that are, you know, pretty fucking good. I don't know. I couldn't remember what specific like actual like kids shows I watched. Like, most of them were very typical for my age, like, you know, Little Einsteins would be, like, one of the more out there ones that I would say that I watched. Yeah, I don't even know. You've got your Dora the Explorers and whatever, and I think those shows can be okay. I think they can teach a good amount of basic stuff. But what's also important is, of course, you know, the act of, like, engaging with your child. I think one of the biggest issues these days is that a lot of kids don't have their parents talking to them a lot. And that's why they also have, like, a lot of, like, social issues, right? Because they don't know how to speak, and so when in real life, I mean. And so when they're confronted with this idea of, like, other people talking to them, they'll be like a fish out of water, because it's just not something they're used to from at home, because that's kind of the thing, you know, like most of the things you learn are things you learn from home. And if your parents don't like engage with you, then how are you supposed to learn how to engage with other people? And so to me, the point at the... Apparently that doesn't fuck you up. To me, the point at the end of the day, I think I would say, is that, a lot of this, oh, nice. A lot of these issues stem from parenting. And I know that might be unfair to put all the blame or a big part of the blame on parents. But I don't know, like in retrospect, I can always talk about my parents as people that were like, it's gonna be a B, right? Oh, no, an A. Okay. As people that were very much trying to interact with us whenever they got the chance. Which maybe wasn't as often as it should have been, but I don't know. I don't want to blame my parents for anything that I did either, so it's not like in that regard, I will always say that, like, well, I mean, you didn't give me a lot of cars, did you? At the end of the day, whenever I was already at an age where I could make my own decisions. Nice. I most definitely take the blame for everything that I did, and I think that's an important lesson to learn as well. Let's go skyscrapers. We'll have to go through here anyway for the Milky Way. That was fucking terrible, by the way. I might not even be able to make this anyway.
Time over. Rank A.
Well, damn. I guess we'll have to do it again. But to conclude that, or maybe not conclude, because I might have something to say, but like to get to the point of that, it's like I think there's a good mix of things that are at fault. I don't think that you can like say that, you know, the internet and watching TV is at fault. I think you can probably blame the parents in a lot of different cases and for a lot of different things. Like, my parents were, I believe, were always very careful about the media that me and my sister consumed. And I also think that that's the right way to go about it. Brumogus 3, when? You're barking up the wrong tree. Floof made that. But yeah, like I said, I think, you know, when we're talking about how shitty the new generation is, you finished the Nicktoons game? Yeah, speaking of how shitty the new generation is, Pink, can you read the title of the stream? No, the game, like, just fucking scrunkled, and I hadn't saved in a while, so I decided to... I just went back to my history and came back here. Doesn't it also change what the stream is titled in your history? In that case, you could just look down. You could scroll down, and then it would still tell you to what the thing is. I mean, unless your phone is in landscape mode. Anyway, no, the game got scrunkled, and I hadn't saved in a while, so I didn't feel like going back and you know, replaying like 1.5 hours. Maybe I'll redo it at some point. Why the fuck do I keep missing the cars? This is not my best round.
Keep passing cars. Let's start.
Anyway, all that is to say, like I said, I believe that to a certain degree, maybe not even like a small degree, it's generally about parenting. I think if people suck at parenting, which most people do, I think that's the issue, or that's when the issue arises of like, you get the skibbity toilet babies and whatever. Which isn't to say that, like, you know, we didn't have our own like shitty brain rot content, because we did. I think that's also normal to have like that kind of like silly, like non-humor, dumb type of entertainment in your life. But I think the problem there is that like it's happening to kids at a very young age, and coupling that with the fact that a lot of parents don't reprimand their kids for being little cringe kids. I don't think of anything that right now that would be considered brain rot. Really, you don't remember MLG Doritos Mountain Dew bass boosted fucking Skrillex noise videos? That wasn't brain rot. Oh, the memes. Yeah, it's still brain rot. It's just our brand of brain rot. Which, again, is fine. It was funny to us at the time. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I think we have to be very, very careful when we shit on Skibidi Toilet, which we can't, because it's still cringe. But again, also remember that we also had our own Skibidi toilets. Ah, fuck. Alright, time to retry. I honestly forgot that until you mentioned it. Yeah, we forget rather quickly. But that's also fine, you know, it's also not on my mind all the time, so... For me, the one I hated a lot was the turned down for what meme. Yeah. A lot of those were like... And a lot of the Vine memes were also like pretty fucking shitty. A lot of it was just like not funny just due to the fact of like... Excuse me, was it barfing? I mean burping. Because I don't know, it was just like not my type of humor. I guess there were funny vines and shit like that too, but like I said, we always have to remember that we also had our Skibidi toilets and shit. I will argue, of course, that like maybe our quote-unquote brain rot memes were a little bit less nonsensical, because at the end of the day, I think a lot of the MLG shit was also just like parodying the real thing, where it was like, oh, you know, we'll take a clip from Shrek and then, you know, we'll edit the fucking hit marker over it whenever he punches somebody or whatever, where it was like, okay. We were like using it in more creative ways, you know, outside of like just saying skibbity, 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 skibbity the entire time. But I'm sure for our, you know, for the older generation before us, it was also still like stupid fucking humor that they didn't understand. Which again is fine. The problem is though that like when you get like 7-year-olds that scream skibbity skibbity sigma sigma Mogriz at the top of their lungs at the fucking local pharmacy, and they won't, you know, while you're waiting in line at McDonald's or whatever, and they're just like behaving like the craziest little fucking shit you've ever seen. That's more of an issue. And that again is also like a parenting issue and a matter of like keeping your child in check and under control, because again, like there's an amount of there's a certain amount of like freedom you can give to a child, you know, where you can let a child be a child, like they don't have to be serious all the fucking time or whatever. But it's also, I think, important to teach children that when we're in a public space, when we're with other people, there is a certain, like, code of conduct that we follow. I think that's entirely normal, and I think that's actually important to teach as well, like... Okay. Excuse me, I'm just looking at a thing. Because this is also a thing that you have to learn going forward, right? Like, this is also a thing where you have to learn it for your future. Is that, like, there are certain social situations where it isn't acceptable to behave in a certain way, because that's how we stop adults from being complete fucking idiots, is by teaching them as children to behave normally. And again, this is a thing where a lot of parents are incapable of this. So it isn't like I want to single out like the current generation of parents. But I think that, you know, it's worse nowadays because there's even less incentive of like properly raising your kids and properly teaching them how to behave.
I got chills.
But, you know, I can only hope that it gets better as time goes on. Okay, I can do that part. Well, apparently not. You know, for the fact that I'm not crashing, I'm not really getting a lot of points here. I guess it's like a very long trail. Like I said, in my opinion, at the end of the day, what's important is to, like, teach proper behavior. You know, like, teach a kid that it's not acceptable to scream and cry and piss and shit and moan every time they don't get what they want immediately.
Checkpoint. Don't crash. Let's start.
These are kind of the things where I will say, like, okay, we have to... this is what parent... Oh, fuck off. Well... maybe. But this is kind of like, you know, where we have to... where parents have to be responsible and say, like, okay, you know... we need to raise our kids properly. We need to teach them, hey, this is okay, this isn't okay, and if you're not gonna behave, then there's gonna be punishment, right? I think that punishment, like, fitting, you know, like proper punishment is entirely okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. I think it should be disproportionate. That's my only stipulation, is that it's not disproportionate. Alright. But I think that I'm gonna probably leave that off here. Because, that was rather fun. That was rather fun, and I'm glad I played this. It's a shame that, Nicktoons was so stinky. My Wilds character. I kind of don't believe that that's your Wilds character. However, very funny. Very, very funny. What the fuck? What? What's going on? What's so what the fuck worthy about the stream ending? The background? Yeah, that's my desktop background. I'm an adult man who is into women. Does that answer your question? He's an 89-year-old fuck. He can do whatever he wants. That's not... Pain, that's not fucking correct. Don't fucking teach them that. The oh my god, look, porn, so crazy meme is not funny. Almost 90, congratulations, man. When funeral date? I don't... How do you expect me to tell you my own funeral date? Can you elaborate on how that's gonna work out? Because, like, I would actually, at this point, really like to know how you expect me to tell you about my own funeral. That would be, Sudoku? That's... Pain, I'd still be fucking... Or do you mean, like... Well, I don't... That's not how it works, though. If I'm killing myself, then that means I don't care about anything that comes after. Why would I give a shit and, like, organize my own funeral, then? And also, like, if I made it to 90, I'm not fucking killing myself. You could go with a bang. Well, like, your mom, or... Have everything set up and then boom. Take everybody at the function with me, too. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I've scrapped my... Fuck, what's the word? What's the fucking box they put you in English? Coffin, there we go. I've strapped my fucking coffin with 500 pounds of explosives. Everybody at this funeral is coming with me. Casket works too. Casket works too. Thank you. I forget words. It's been a day. I've had a day. I was out all day, and then I came back, and then fucking Nicktoons didn't work. It's a shit-ass game. That's not true. It's a very fun game, but I'll have to see if I can fix it and actually play it properly. Either way, thank you guys a lot for joining me today. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please go follow the Bottom Boys. All of their links are in the description. I'm not gonna fucking read that out loud. I might, maybe, perchance, possibly stream something tomorrow. I don't know yet. I'll decide that on the fly. You know, keep in mind, there is, my new PC is happening rather soon. So, we'll actually get some more content on this channel coming out again fairly regularly, I hope. I, would very much like that a lot. So Death Stranding will come back? I mean, maybe. I don't, like, do you mean that in regards of, like, recording? Because I have to do a lot of work with Death Stranding. Oh, right. I have to do a lot of work with Death Stranding, and I don't know, like, how easily that's gonna go. I'm also, like, kind of out of the loop with the story, but I'm so far into the story that I don't really want to, like, stop the playthrough. It'll be done by the time 2 comes out. I wouldn't fucking count on that. But anyway, we'll see. Like I said, maybe I'll stream something tomorrow. I don't know yet. If not, hanging out is always an option. But until then, please, everybody, stay safe and goodbye. And I hope I'll see you on the next stream. That was I was doing a little out of order, but it's fine. It's okay.